What are the baggage trains for in pub battles, and how do you use them? Now, just real quick in general, you're going to have, let's say, a battle. Both sides will usually start fresh. Now, as you fight, I'm just making something up here, some pieces may die, but usually what happens is a lot of these will get flipped from combat and they'll fall back. All right, so after you fight a little bit, you might end up with something like this, right? Now, when they take hits, first hit flips them. So when they're spent like this, they're weak. That makes them vulnerable. They can die real easy when they're spent. So how do you rally these and get them to be fresh again? That's what the baggage trains are for. In order to rally, you need to be in range of a baggage train. Now there's a catch here. A baggage train can only rally if it's unpacked. If they're unpacked, they can't move anymore. So usually you'll march your baggage train into battle here. While it's packed, it can move around. Once you decide you want to use it, you unpack it, turn it face down. Now it's fixed into location. For how long? For the rest of the battle, so you better make sure. I like to think of these baggage trains as a victory point. So have you seen games where they'll have victory points on the map? We don't have that in pub battles. The victory points are your baggage trains. You move them and set them wherever you want. Once you unpack them and set them, then in effect that becomes your victory point. If I unpack my baggage here and we keep fighting, and then later the colonials are able to get here and sack my baggage, they win. That wins the battle. So baggage is key to victory in pub battles. That's it in a nutshell. If that's all you're looking for, you're done with this video. Sometimes it's better to show rather than tell. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to do a couple of turn playthrough of a game, and we can see how this works in action in a live game. This is the Battle of Germantown. This is still a rough playtest map. In this battle, the Germans. In this battle, the British, not the Germans, the British are on defense here. The colonials are attacking from the north. They can come in anywhere along this edge of the map. They've got 4 different commands here, but we have no idea of knowing where their real strength is. I've got the British set up back here, kind of dispersed. I don't know what to expect here yet. Here's my baggage train. It's packed up, so it can move, but I can't rally anybody right now. All right, still in turn 1. The colonials have marched in here, here, and here. Now Howe has to move. The colonials still have one more command to come in. We don't know where that could come in. So we don't really know where to commit yet. At this point with Howe, I think I'm just going to pass. I want to stay flexible. All right, the last colonial command came in here, so I don't have to worry about this side of the field anymore. That's not a threat. Now, all of our army is fresh right now. We don't have to worry about committing the baggage, but we want to start thinking about that now ahead of time. Try to anticipate what's going to happen here. So where is the battle going to be? It's probably not going to be up here. This is just a delaying action. Colonials are probably going to push us back. Most likely we're going to end up fighting somewhere in here. The issue is, where is the biggest enemy strength? Is it over here, or is it over here? Is it in the middle? So we don't really know exactly where we want our baggage yet, but it's probably going to be somewhere in this area here. We need to start anticipating this now. That's it for turn 1. Let's go on to turn 2. First colonial move is these two pieces come out of reserve, deploy, and attack us here. Next colonial move, they march down here, and these two pieces come out of reserve. I don't like this. Next, this piece comes out of reserve from here, moves up, and another one attacks our flank. That's okay, we haven't moved yet. We can get out of there easy. All right, and finally, two pieces deploy and attack us here out of this HQ. We're lucky here, we're able to move last on the turn. All right, now these blank pieces here with no stickers on them, those are just attachments. They're like little one-step delaying forces. So obviously he's outclassed. I'm just going to run away with these. I can do that because I'm moving last. So they did their job. They delayed the enemy. I'm just going to actually, I think I want to pull them back to about here. Abercrombie, I'm going to move up on this hill. That'll cover my flank. I don't need to worry about the enemy coming from this direction anymore. I know they're all over here. I like having this artillery up on the hill. Now, I can't bombard these because in Germantown there's a heavy fog, so visibility is stopping me from bombarding. But I will adjust my artillery here. This is a good point to hold on this hill. I'll put Grant up behind him to support him. That's looking good. I'm going to drop these detachments back. Again, as just a screen or a delay, like a speed bump will slow the colonial advance here, buy us a little bit of time. Hopefully they'll just fall back again here next turn. All right, now what do we do with this mess over here? Problem is we don't know exactly where the colonial strength is yet. The colonials have these detachments too. So where are they? Are these just attachments? How many more pieces do they have in reserve over here? They could have 3, 4 more pieces. These could be full strength heavy hitters. And maybe their detachments are up here. This is just a fake screen. Who knows? Could be the other way around. I don't like my baggage being so close to here. Luckily, we haven't unpacked it yet, so we can get it out of there, right? We need to defend against this until we find out what we're up against. All right, I think I'm going to put our guards down there. That's a good unit. I'm going to put them down here to cover our right flank. They're strong. Whatever this is, they'll be able to hold for a while anyways. And you know what? I'm going to take these other detachments. So I've got 2 detachments here. I'm going to double them up. So I'm going to put them up on this hill. That looks strong and intimidating. Actually, if the colonials do attack there, it'll crumble and fall really quick. Let's see. I don't have to worry about them attacking across this flank here because there's a pond. They can't cross the pond. Now what do we do with this baggage? I've got a good line going here. If they fight and some of them run, they're probably going to run back to about here and they'll be flipped. So this is going to be my rallying line. That's where I'm going to need to rally troops. I don't like my baggage train being so far over to here or so close to my right. If they break through, it'll get sacked really quick. So I want to move it this way, get it a little more safe position. Don't need to unpack it yet. I just want to start getting it ready. But I'm thinking maybe somewhere, in fact, I like having it down below this hill. That way maybe they can't see it. It'll stay hidden longer. I don't have to make any decisions now about baggage. Everybody's still fresh, right? So I'm going to wait until the last possible moment to unpack my baggage when I actually need it. That's it for turn 2, no combat, ready for turn 3. Okay, first up, This piece attacks my center here, and this one weasels over in between here. I should have been more careful about this. He was able to weasel in here and hit my flank. How actually moves next. I tried to delay a move later, but failed. Have to move now. So now what? Well, we can move this detachment up to here and swing Abercrombie over and hit these guys in the flank. With the detachment, we can cover Abercrombie's flank. That'll cause some trouble for him. We've got to keep our guards over here to cover this force, cover our right. This didn't work out so swell. Luckily we can get out of this mess. We're gonna have to fall back though. So where do we go? We can turn and fall back to here, say. That'll be a delaying force. Yeah, heck. That's probably good. They can't move again. He's already moved this turn, so we're probably good right there. All right, next up, this unit here moves up in the center. This one hits over here. This one comes out of reserve, hits there as well. And then this HQ is going to move over to there. Next up, these two pieces move. Now they've got to stay out of range here because they don't have enough movement to go all the way. Moving across rough terrain, so they lose a third. And finally, over here on the right, the Colonials brought out one more unit and moved further to the right. They're obviously trying to turn my flank here, but they haven't attacked us. They could have attacked us, but they're holding back. Now, I'm starting to smell a rat here. Does that mean these are weak? They are attacking us here. They're not afraid to attack us here, so they probably have strength up there. This could be detachments. We don't know yet. This could be detachments. Now, this could all just be a feint here, a light detachment screen to pull our troops away from the center. Could also be a trap. Maybe they're just moving like this to make us think they've got detachments. So if I go crashing in here to clean this up, what if I run into full strength units or maybe artillery? Or maybe this HQ has more pieces in reserve to support these lines. We can't tell for sure, but since they're afraid to attack us, they're moving timid. Makes me suspect something's funny here. Could be wrong. All right, now let's resolve combat. The detachment scores 1 hit on the Colonials. That flips them. The Colonials get 1 hit on the British, which kills it. That's all it takes to kill a detachment. Now over here. British fire first because they've got artillery out front. That scores 2 hits. That's going to flip Nash, and he retreats. The second Colonial is going to move up. They return fire. They're going uphill, so they're actually going to use they're going to be -1 for that. They get lucky. They still score 2 hits. That will make the artillery flip and retreat. They can retreat because they're backed up by Grant here. If they were on their own, they'd be destroyed. Grant will move up. He could flip and retreat with them, but he's going to advance and continue the fight here. All right, now Abercrombie, not Fitch, fires into the flank. It's going to be on the +1. And he scores 1 hit. All right, now that's the end of round 1. Now we have the option to retreat. Defender gets to decide first. So we could fall back. Artillery's gone. Our left is exposed. But we're also on a hill here, and we've got 2-to-1. We've got flanking fire. This is also some pretty important terrain. We need to hold this. If we lose this hill line, we're going to be in real big trouble. Where else are we going to fall back to? So I think Grant and the British are going to stay. He's not retreating. Now the option goes to the attacker. Colonials, we're already flipped. We're being flanked. Yeah, pretty easy decision actually. Time for them to run. So they're going to voluntarily run. That's going to end the combat. There is no second round. It also ends a turn. Ready for turn? What are we in now? 3 or 4? That was turn 3, so now we're ready for turn 4. This is turning into a really interesting battle. As the British right now, this is looking pretty bad on the surface. Looks like we're pretty heavily outnumbered, and remember, there's still potential reserve out there. Colonials could have twice this much for all we know, haven't come out of reserve yet. Our baggage is here, but we don't have a whole lot of spent units, so we don't really need to unpack just yet. Now this looks like we're badly outnumbered, but remember, Colonials have militia too, poor grade troops, so some of we haven't seen them yet, but some of these might be militia and easy to destroy. Some of them, maybe a lot of them, are detachments we haven't seen. Those would be easy to destroy. We're also British, by God, right? So we've got Matthew's Guards here. We've got Abercrombie's Elite Light Infantry. Right now, except for artillery, everybody's fresh. And the Colonials have 3 brigades here that are flipped. So if we can get a hold of them, and we get a hold of militia and detachments, if we can hit those, we could destroy most of half of what we see here real quick. So it's not as bad as it looks. Well, at least maybe. Now, another interesting thing about pub battles is we don't have to fight here. So we don't need to unpack our baggage right now. But we don't need to unpack it at all, ever. I mean, we don't even have to fight this battle. So let's assume that these are all good units. They don't have militia and detachments, and they've got a lot more coming, and yeah, it is as bad as it looks. It's worse than it looks, okay? If that's the case, guess what? We don't have to fight here. We don't have to unpack the baggage. You know what we could do? We could just hightail it and skedaddle. Right now, the score, this is what we've lost, just one detachment. So right now the score is, what is that, 1-0. 1-0. If we just book and we don't lose another piece and just evacuate, that's a 1-point loss. That's like the smallest point loss you could have. I'd call that a win. Okay, what would be way worse is if let's say we unpack the baggage here, and then we fight, and we lose a few more pieces, and we can't hold, we've got to pack up the baggage and retreat off the board, that's going to double our losses. So instead of assuming we didn't lose anybody else, that would be 1 point, that would be 2 points. But I'm pretty sure if we fought it out that way, we'd probably lose another couple of blocks. So let's say it would be, I don't know, 7 or 8 points. Let's say 8 points times 2 because we had to evacuate the baggage. So that would be a 16-point loss. I'd rather take a 1-point loss and bug out now than a 16-point loss, right? Okay, what's even worse than that is if we unpack the baggage, we stay and fight, we lose, let's say, another 2 or 3 pieces, maybe 8 points worth of pieces, trying to hold the baggage, and then the colonials sack the baggage anyways before the end of the day. That would be 3 times the points. So that would be, what, 16, 20, 24. So that's what we're risking by unpacking the baggage here. Do we want to just run, take a 1-point loss, or risk a 24-point loss? Okay, now Marshall, you're talking about losing. How do we win? All right, well, let's take a look at the colonial situation. Right now over here on the right, they probably haven't unpacked any baggage yet because they don't need to. Nobody's been flipped. We just flipped a bunch of colonials here on our left. If they haven't unpacked yet, they're going to be needing to if they want to fight. So if they start rallying these pieces, we know that tells us that they have unpacked their baggage, and it has to be in range. So that tells us their baggage is probably going to be right around in here somewhere. So how do we win? Same way. If we can start attacking and break through here and sack their baggage once we've confirmed that it's there, that'll give us a 3 times point win. So I really like what these baggage trains do to the battle. In general, yeah, they can rally your troops. That's what you use them for. But it's a lot more than just that. It puts the strategic battle plans in your hand. So the basic mechanics and rules of pub battles is pretty easy. These rules about the baggage trains and the strategy are very deep, rich, and complex. You have to decide if you want to fight, where you want to fight, when do you want to fight, and then the whole other half of the game is, what is the enemy doing? How can we prompt the enemy into making a mistake? How can we make him think he can win and fight in some place and set him up? How can we get him to do what we want him to do with his baggage so that we can take advantage for it? These are the kind of decisions I love wrestling with as a gamer in these games. Check it out.